I've only watched it once. I can never watch it again. And I love every horror kind of torture movie, but this to me was the cruelest.
I can vouch for that.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello. Bienvenue, bienvenida. We've been listening to Bonavide's Social Club all afternoon, right? So, hola. Welcome to this episode of What the Flicks podcast. Let me introduce ourselves. I'm Susan Ayers.
Patty Smith.
Lon Shima.
Wait, not my temple. Jorge Sanchez. You didn't say your name's not my temple.
And I'm Bob Nick Shields.
Right. And last but definitely not least. Okay, so
All right, who's least?
I'll take that.
I swear I was going to say the same thing. I'll take it with this week.
Okay, so
Somebody says it. You got a whole bunch. Which one of them's least?
Whoever you want.
we'll toss for it. Okay.
Draw straws.
So our movies are Whiplash, American Fiction, Society of Snow, I See You, and Slashback. So we're going to begin with George.
Yes. My movie is Whiplash. Whiplash? I can't hear. So this movie is basically, actually, this movie came out in 2014, and I wasn't interested in seeing it at all.
Really?
It's like another musician movie, I don't know, about a drummer or something.
Wow.
I really didn't know what it was. I kind of got the idea, I guess, of it. But then it was playing the other day. I said, I'll give it a chance. And I was like, wow, that's, to me, it was a really good movie. So basically, the movie is about was not a fictitious college, a Schaefer Conservatory of Music. And there's this student, what's his name? Nate Paul. Did I get his name?
What?
Andrew. There you go. My temporary reference. He's a new student of this Conservatory of Music. He's a bit of a where all the top musicians go, and then the J.K. Simmons. He's a professor, the top professor there. There's different classes, different groups, but he does the studio, the core band, and this is the band that does a lot of the competitions. So the movies, he kind of befriends him, he hears him playing, and asks him to come and check out his studio band. And before you know it, he has him as a part of the studio band. He's not, second to the core drummer. But the movie is really the method that this teacher has. J.K. Simmons, he's Fletcher. He has a belief that you have to push talent to the limit, but even in a very punishing way to be able to release that talent, to release greatness. That's his philosophy. And of course, he ends up with this student too, who has quite a bit of an ego, and he wants to be the best. I mean, he's one of those that wants to be one of the greatest to the point that he will dump his girlfriend for it, or she gets in his way. That kind of so you got those two clashes. But of course, the teacher, you see how very violent he is, but not physically violent. Well, a little bit, but he has a couple of instances where he does smack him around, but verbally, very verbally violent. So the movie pretty much follows this kid's experience trying to be one of the great drummers, trying to become the core drummer of the studio band, where they do competitions, and a lot of these competitions, the winners get chosen to play for major, like the Lincoln Center or whatever, some major associations.
Marcellus.
Marcellus, major associations. So your career is so dependent on this. If you want to end up in one of those places, that you will take the abuse if you're a young student, and they do. So I actually really enjoyed the movie, even though it was very disturbing. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was some things I found a little hard to believe though. But then when I went back, like this one that I was saying, he goes, not my tempo when the kid plays, but he's not playing long enough for you to figure out the tempo. But then I go, well, he's doing it really to punish him too, so it makes a little sense. So I'll let that go by now and not get by. Then J.K. Simmons was amazing in that movie. I also like Paul Reiser, who plays the kid's father. He's very supportive. He's a really good character in that movie too. I just spaced out there. I was gonna say I had a different title than Paul Reiser. The drumming, the actor Andrew, who's
Miles Teller.
Miles. See, but then they played it out. Miles, what's his name? Was that his
Miles Teller.
name? Miles Teller. Okay. So Miles Teller, he does play drums. He's self-taught drummer. He's been playing since he was like a little kid. But they're saying that it's really hard to tell. Damien Chazelle, the movie is directed by Damien Chazelle who did La La Land. And Damien Chazelle says that Miles Teller plays 90% of the drums. Now, me as a musician, I'm watching him playing. A lot of times he seemed off to me. But if he's a drummer, he apparently the guy that plays the core guy, the homosexual drummer, that guy kept saying he's homosexual. The main, what's his face? Nate, the first core drummer, the actor.
Leprechaun.
No, the Leprechaun's the second drummer,
okay.
right? But Nate is the one he keeps calling him homosexual and everything. Teaches him about it. This is not your boyfriend's, whatever. He is actually a drummer, a real drummer, and he taught the actor how to really hold the sticks. I mean, because the guy's a drummer, but he's a drummer like most kids when they're going to learn the drums. Whereas the other drummer, he's an actual drummer, and he kind of schooled him a little bit how you do the sticks and everything. I heard somewhere that the major drum beats. I heard two different stories. One is there's this drummer now, which I can't find the name of it, who plays the hardest parts in the film.
Might be Trent Reznor, because I know he was involved in it.
And then I heard another one where they use beats and loops and computerized stuff to make
I
it
heard he
match.
played 94% of the drums.
Well, yeah, that's the actor.
That's the promo.
Yeah, but they say that he's a drummer, so he does play. He says he does play.
It's like I do.
It's just
all
that the
my
more
own.
complicated stuff he didn't play, somebody else played.
No, right.
Or they said they use loops. But I mean, the movie's very entertaining. The music is amazing. I mean, the jazz music, that song Whiplash. I mean, that's the whole time your neck is like. I'm almost like, damn, I'll pick up the drums now. It's really good. Anyway, so I really enjoyed it.
This is one of my favorite movies in recent years. I've seen this movie many times. The first time I saw it with a friend of mine, and we laughed our way through it because the viciousness of J.K. Simmons, who plays the instructor, who's just won the Academy Award for supporting actor, and deservedly so. What a performance. That really put him on the map, and he'd been around for a long time. You start going back, you see him like, he's been around for like at least 20 years. Yep. But wow, he is amazing in this, and Miles Teller matches him beat for beat. That movie, to me, ultimately, this is like Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah.
It's two super monsters with egos bigger than they are, battling it out to see which one's going to crush the other one. And it's done in that particular setting of a music school. A friend of mine who saw it first, who is a musician, said, "I saw this movie. You got to see this movie, Bob, because it's not like anything I've ever seen before." And I really don't know what I would compare it to, other than like I'm saying Toho Scope or something. Right. But it really is an unusual movie. I think it really deals with a reality. It may be exaggerated. It may not be exaggerated. I've never gone to college. I don't know. But what it is it's like two out of control egos battling with each other to see who's going to win. And it's up to you to decide which one won at the end. But the fact is, this guy is going, there's something in this kid. I'm going to make it happen. And I'm not going to do it in any kind of sweet way. Right. Because he's like, they kind of indicate that he's kind of a failed musician himself.
Right.
And one of the classic lines in it is like, the worst thing anybody could ever say to me is "good job," and it's like that really tells you what you need to know about the character. He has to be the best, and he's coming up against someone he's afraid is better than him, and instead of crushing him, he challenges him, whether that's his aim or not.
It could be he's hoping he might fail, but he hopes he doesn't at the same time.
Well, I think he doesn't I think he just realized he's like all these other guys when he comes in there and he pushes him in that. But then he sees this guy survives,
right? So
this guy has a chance. And the arrangement they take Caravan, the Duke Ellington song Caravan, as the big thing, about a 10-minute version of it at the end of the film. And man, what a great arrangement on it!
But great players.
Great players. I mean, all the musicians in this are really sensational. Who knows how good the guys in the band are because they're actors.
Right.
But the musicians behind this who put it together, oddly enough, because it was Damien Chazelle, I wanted to see La La Land. And as far as I'm concerned, he's made one good movie, and it's Whiplash.
Because La La Land was not that one movie.
I disagree with that. I loved La La Land.
I hated La La Land.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, this movie. J.K. Simmons was the biggest asshole it was you've ever seen. The kid totally reminded me of the Karate Kid. You know, Ralph Macchio. Yeah, the way he talked and just the way. Yeah, I kept thinking it was like Ralph Macchio, and it was. Anyways, the kid Andrew is almost as great as Jack Simmons in the part. He's as annoying, ambitious person whose ego is so invested in something that it's almost painful. You know what I mean? It's like it's an obsession. So this is both of them, both J.K. Simmons and the boy, right? Except the boy can be forgiven because he's a boy. You know what I mean?
He's so young.
Yeah, I wouldn't forgive him if I was his girlfriend.
No, she's a kid too.
Exactly.
She's a young woman. 20 years from now she'll be. But he's a boy, so he's expected to be make stupid decisions. But anyways, what did I write here? I think this is good. Okay. How do you take something so uplifting and
Crush the crap out of it.
exactly crush the joy out of it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
This
like
movie.
and make it ugly and painful.
Right.
How would I say the boy is forgiven? And anyways, he's on an elevator going down fast. He's gonna crash. So Paul Reisner is the exact opposite of both of them. He is a person who's very comfortable with himself. He's a teacher, he's a writer, and he is totally supportive of his son. And he's everything. He gets things done by being very positive. You know what I mean? So I thought that was a good dichotomy. And they really have no patience with your dad is not as successful. He's a teacher. So was J.K. Simmons. But
first remember he says, he's a writer.
Yeah,
he says, what has he written?
Yeah,
like,
because he's trying to make him. I'm sure he is a writer.
Better than exactly.
Because they have this goal of where they think it's kind of a snobbery in a way.
Exactly. Yes.
It's total snobbery.
The dad again is supportive, as opposed to opposed to these two losers. They're kind of losers.
But makes you wonder how the kid gets to be so snob, since his father is the total opposite.
Because children are always opposite than their parents. Do you notice that?
Well, he's also got a fire going within him too that the father does not have.
Mm-hmm. Well, we don't know
that. We don't know that.
Well, it's not there in the movie.
You're right. I mean, because we're meeting him as a much older person. I feel like this.
They're two different kinds of people.
Yeah, Melissa Benoist.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce her last name.
Benoist is the love interest, Nicole. She. It further shows his obsession because basically she's there and likes him, but he hasn't got the time for her.
Yeah. Right.
So I don't want you to get the impression I didn't like this movie. I loved this movie, but that's the movie.
Yeah. I thought this movie was about the negative side of ego. And I thought J.K. Simmons and I call him the boy. The boy.
I call him the boy too. Or the
just
Karate
showed
Kid.
How you can, have an ideal of something very pure and good, and how that, ego gone bad can totally destroy it. This movie, I love this movie, but I've only watched it once. I can never watch it again. And I love every horror kind of torture movie, but this to me was the cruelest.
I can vouch for that.
The cruelest movie.
Wow!
It was so disturbing. I couldn't watch. I could never watch it again.
Yes, real.
Yeah, they could have cut off his head. I could have handled that. But how he was just putting down this kid all the time.
He's putting on everybody.
Yeah, but he's a kid.
I mean, I fell out of my seat when he said to the guy, "You really do resemble a leprechaun." Yeah.
These people, this guy should never be around students.
No, he shouldn't.
He's
Yeah, our
Although-
schools are filled with them.
no, I think he's terrible.
No, I think the guy is terrible, and I think that one of the points the movie is making is like, if you want to be a genius, you can't be a human being at the same time.
I disagree with
I
that.
disagree with that.
Well, I think that's what
that's
the
a-
movie is saying.
No, that's what he's saying. That's what J.K. Simmons is saying. The character is saying.
No, J.K. Simmons is saying, I don't want anybody to say I just did a good job. But
No,
I'm
he's
saying
saying,
what
I'm going to make you. You're going to be
It's
my.
interpretation.
Miles.
No, like
my
what do you call
muse.
that?
Right.
You're going to be
He's
my.
going to make his
And
But
protege.
that doesn't happen
It's his
until the
protege.
last
So-
scene.
Yeah, but I'm
'cause
going
he
to be.
knows
I'm
he
going to
probably
be
got it.
part of it. I'm going to be part of it by making you great. I'm putting myself in you, and then I'm part of it because he can't do it
I
himself.
created greatness. It's been like I created
Yeah,
greatness.
and it's very
Exactly.
clearly laid out on screen because he's
Yes.
pushing him, and then when he sees like the kid ain't going to stop, even though his hands are bleeding, he realizes this guy's just passed me. I'm at the starting gate. I'm
He's
going to watch him win
passed
the
you
race.
in nutsness. That's
about
what he's
what?
What's that?
passed you
Lon's
in.
turn. How about Lon's turn?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you said. Past the what?
Uh,
Susie, I didn't understand what you said. Past the what?
nutsness.
The nutsness? He passed the nuts.
Crazy.
Yeah, he crazy. Cray. He's nuts.
What is
So,
one thing?
I'm more or less the same as you, Patty. That is like,
But it's a great movie. Don't get me wrong on that.
Okay, we got that. One.
yes, no, if you guys want an intense drama, this is definitely it.
Yeah.
There is, the levity in it is made through sarcastic, nasty, horrible, and basically watching physical and psychological abuse.
Yeah.
So that's where the humor lies. Now, I personally don't like it, but as Patty knows, Blumhouse was one of the producers of this or distributors, and I thought, wow, how appropriate that this film that I don't like because of that negativity, right, is a Blumhouse. Yet, I cannot deny that when I watched this movie, I was riveted in watching this. I don't want to call it a train wreck but it is just
It is a train
it
wreck.
really is the worst.
I don't think it's a train wreck.
It's the worst. How would I put it? Confrontation of two humans that you can watch. Because I agree with you, Bob. I think his theory in this film is how far do you go to break into that genius level of being a musician? Because I'm going
being
to
an
blow
artist,
it.
I'd
One
say.
of the greatest lines, because you're right. I think the only two decent characters that you said who have time are the Paul Reiser and the Melissa Benoist character, right?
Well, she's
Because they are
ordinary.
good. No, they're just good people. You
right.
see that, So that's why I
They're
love.
real people. They're not living in that world of we're
Right.
better than
no,
you.
exactly. That's what I mean by being a good, honest, decent person. Because what's happened is these two people are not decent. That's obvious. I mean, it's very obvious at one point. Now, Miles Teller's character seems to be decent, especially when he first meets the girl and asks her, I think, oh, what a nice little scene, right? It's like, oh, this is different. And then,
You
right.
see that
And
later
then you
scene with
see
them.
where he keeps
Whoa.
going, where it's like he realizes because of J.K. Simmons' character, the professor, that he has to cut off all things and devote everything to him. So all the pain, everything, he's going to take it on, which that's what makes Miles Teller's performance, I think, phenomenal in this.
Oh, he's great.
Because I think he and J.K. Simmons are equally great in this
Yeah.
film, And I think Miles Teller, maybe because of his age, wasn't quite recognized, right? But I just thought these two actors are incredible in this. The confrontations are great. The problem is, it's like you. It's like I watched this and I didn't want to watch it again. In fact, I literally said, okay, this is the last movie I'm going to watch. And I thought, wow, I'd rather watch the Society of the Snow, which I really didn't want to watch again, right? But I thought, I've seen this and let me see what my second take is. And it was exactly like my first take, that this was a hard movie to watch because of its intensity. But like I said, like you were saying, performances are incredible. This director I'm not sort of keen on because I could admire his skill of filmmaking. And I mean on a technical level and a storytelling level. I just don't like his characters. That's what it comes down to. And that's what makes it sad for me because I thought, again, both actors, Miles Taylor and J.K. Simmons really developed these characters, and you see it. I mean, you see the discipline when he comes in. J.K. Simmons comes in a classroom, the way he meticulously hangs his coat, puts his hat. I mean, he's literally so disciplined that it has to be perfect.
Almost
Or just the
military.
way he raises the music stand yeah.
Or anything.
He's
That's
very
what I mean.
military.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I see. I mean, he literally is the Arlie Ermy of this film, right?
Military is the exact opposite of the arts.
Exactly.
That's
But
why
see-
it doesn't work.
But see, that's why
you guys are saying that's good.
No,
I'm
but-
saying that's the last thing it's
Oh,
going
I
to
disagree.
encourage
I
is
think
art.
it is
I
good
didn't say
because
it
it
was
is that
That- I
rehearsing,
understand
rehearsing, that discipline of rehearsing, right? I'm sorry, that is militaristic. It's the same as marching. You keep doing it every day until you get it perfect, right? So
You
that's
do
what
it
I
every
admire
day
about
because
it.
you love it. And if you
What?
do it every day
Oh, no.
because you
But you
love
need
it,
that.
See-
You need that part
I
too.
disagree.
Because
See, I don't agree with that only because it's at school. So he's learning. So the young kid, like you're right, he's sort of forgiven all that stuff because he's learning his life.
well, and that
that's
guy,
why
and that
I
guy
think-
is abusing him.
Oh, well, again, you think so, but then you see him in a way just really, really pushing him to the limit because, like he says, he sees something special about him. I mean, when he's taken from the one class, just hearing small little bits, right, from people. Oh, I want you to be here in my class at this time as the alternate. Then he works his way up. So then, for me, I think Paul Reiser's character, I think it was Paul Reiser's character,
Yeah, it was
wasn't it?
Reisner, the dad.
No, who said the thing about the Charlie Parker remark, which I thought that summed up exactly how I felt about this movie.
Or
Yeah.
even when
What
they
was
at
the-
the
what was
table
the
when he's
line?
talking about the kids.
Huh?
About being a 35-year-old drug addict. It's his father. Because
Right.
he's getting it.
What did he say?
He's
Well,
having,
he says, "Oh, okay, you can have the genius, but yeah, oh, Charlie Parker, yeah, one of the greatest jazz musicians of all time. He died at 34 from heroin.
Oh.
Is that, and it's like, oh, okay, is that great genius
It
in
looked
life?
like he was
Oh,
about
this is-
And that's what I'm
65.
saying. That's what both the Paul Reiser and that Melissa Benoist, Benoist, I don't know how to.
Benoit.
Their
Supergirl.
characters that they were both, and to me, they were living a life that involved the world. These two characters are not. It's all about music, period, and your potential of driving to get to be the best, really.
and that's
You
what
know-
a great scene.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the blues guitar player that everybody goes to see. I mean, I think he's dead now. He's
B.B. King.
Albert King.
before, no.
Another King?
King Richard III.
John
Oh,
McLaughlin.
oh, I know what he means. Yeah.
Anyways,
Jeff Beck.
he plays it. No.
What?
Yeah.
What was that response?
Don't even go there.
Yeah.
Die! Go to hell!
Don't like Jeff Beck. Anyways, anyway, I don't like his style. Doesn't mean I don't
But
like
is he
Jeff Beck.
Yngwie Malmsteen?
No. Anyways, he plays everything wrong. What I mean is he plays his guitar wrong way around. He uses
Jimi Hendrix.
He uses
Johnny Hooker?
no, but you're in the right. You're in the
Okay.
right.
Mississippi
You're
John
in the
Hurt.
right. You're in the right place,
Okay.
right?
Is he
Sleepy
blues?
John
Is it
Estes.
blues?
He's a blues guy. And anyways, old blues guy.
Oh, Robert Johnson.
No.
Oh.
Well, yeah, but you're going back a little too
Howard
far.
Johnson. Robert Hall.
It doesn't matter, but my
Yeah.
point is he does everything wrong when he plays. Everything technically wrong.
Right.
But
Right.
when he plays, you're at least when I work, the place is full of the best guitarists you've ever seen because he has so much feel.
Buddy Guy.
No, that's a drummer, isn't he?
No,
But
Buddy
you know,
Guy.
and it shows how the classic,
But he has
that
a
world is like
guitarist.
the classical world too. That
It
competitive,
is like,
that
that's what I'm
perfection.
saying. It's like
Right.
music is feeling. So you have to be able to express that feeling. Now, you could do it that way too. I personally think it ruins everybody. But because ballet is exactly the same. You're very rigid. It's very,
Discipline.
but
Yeah.
he's a
Discipline, yeah.
this is a jazz
Yep.
school. This is not a classical school. And jazz is about freeform.
Well, out of curiosity, is it an actual jazz school? That's the one thing. I just
They
thought it was
were-
a
it was a
music
jazz.
school and he happened
thought
to
it
be
was
a
a
It
jazz.
was jazz.
Yeah.
It was jazz.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So what do we think?
But yeah, I do agree with you because that's what I was going to say too. The fact that it was jazz, that you're right.
Yeah, but he hasn't-
That
he
it's
hasn't
all
given
about
me-
knowing the feelings of everyone else, so you blend so
And
perfectly
you
together.
ad lib a lot,
Right.
and you
exactly.
can't
But I was
do
gonna make a
that if
point.
you're like the army and rigid,
in,
and there's
Right,
only
sure,
one
yeah,
way
yeah.
to respond.
Yeah.
But anyways, that it was a great movie. So,
Remember when he tells him the story about, it's an office Miles Davis who went to this session and played the wrong note and the guy threw
Yes.
a cymbal trying to decapitate him.
Right.
Now, and then he ended up being
what
instead
happened?
of crying or whatever, he came
Yeah.
back practicing, ended up being the greatest, one of the greats.
Oh, that was the one about Charlie Parker, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Charlie Parker,
Charlie Parker.
and it wasn't that
And
they
Ricky
threw,
Bird.
he didn't
No.
try to decapitate
No,
him.
he said
What they
throw
would do is
right.
they'd throw the symbol on
Right,
the floor.
On the floor, on the
Yeah.
street. So they kind of embellished the story. But the point he was making of that story is that that guy created Charlie Bird or Charlie Parker
Right.
for being that aggressive, and he's saying, I'm still waiting for my Charlie Parker,
Mm-hmm.
and he felt like this drummer, you almost feel like you're gonna be my Charlie Parker, and I'm gonna push you physically, and I'm gonna destroy you till I get my Charlie Parker out of you.
Because I do know what you mean also when you said about the jazz musicians that, like Thelonious Monk, when he changed up the rhythm of playing,
Right.
people said, oh, like technical music. It's like, oh, that's wrong.
Oh,
and
yeah.
yet he created his own style of jazz. Right
Yes,
there.
it's a really
That 5/4 time or
I just
whatever it
felt
was.
that guy wanted desperately to be part of greatness. That J.K. Rowling's character, and he didn't have it.
You know, a friend of
Simmons,
mine,
by the way.
a friend of mine told me that at the time when he got the Oscar, he said, I was scared to not vote for him. I thought if I didn't vote for him, he'd find me and kill me. Richard Portnow, by the way.
Oh, really? Oh, how funny. Okay.
Okay, so
let's read it, and then I can.
do you feel we have discussed it
Yeah.
enough?
No, I think we should forget all the other movies and just keep talking about this one.
I agree.
Which we did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was an Academy Award.
Oh,
was it?
winner. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
sound
Well,
editing and film editing.
yeah.
And
Oh,
Simmons.
the music is
Oh.
amazing.
Yeah.
The music was amazing. It was just so. Anyways,
Okay.
I give it a
Oh, you
10.
don't.
wow.
Oh,
I'll
it's
give it a 9.
Yeah.
I gave this a 6.
I'll give it a 10 too. I thought it was that
How can
good.
you love this movie?
Okay.
I am inherently giving it a 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't,
I can't-
you've got it.
Every now and then I'll throw in a 10 for
Yeah, that's
something.
all right.
Thank you.
That's all right.
If it's something that's like just
See,
so
I'm
supreme.
very free form. I'm not rigid.
Like jazz. Okay.
Exactly.
Like
Just sing it up.
well, like blues, I think
So
more.
we'll be
Okay.
back.
Okay.